Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Amethyst Rune Witch, and today I'm going to be talking about self-care. Specifically the things that you could use to help you in your magical practices. So things that you can, herbs that you could, use in spell jars, in any kind of spell really, associated with self-care and self-love. We're going to talk about herbs, we're going to talk about crystals, different symbols that you could use, you could add, but also different methods of self-care. So what I'm going to talk about what self-care means and looks like to me, because it can and should look different for everyone depending on, who you are, what you do. It's different for all of us. There's no hard and fast, this is how you do it, this is the be all and end all. There's none of that, which I think is great. So let's get into it. The herbs. Chamomile, it's good. It's usually good for easing anxiety, so that could be added in to help. Well, not just chamomile, lavender as well actually. A lot of herbs can be used for self-care, self-love, and we don't even realise. So anything that you could use for anti-anxiety could be useful for, removing a mental block that's holding you back from saying, this is what I need to do. I need to take this time for me. So that's something. So chamomile, lavender, lemon balm, rosemary, even just as a reminder to do self-care. Passion flower, showing yourself a bit of passion. Valerian, basil, sage, St. John's wort. Literally pick a herb that's not typically baneful. So not the ones that would typically be added into curses and hexes. So I think, what was it? There's a few baneful herbs. I know that in the Druid plant oracle there are 3 plants that are typically known as the banes, and I can't for the life of me remember what they are right now. So sorry about that. But provided it's not, again, as I said, provided it's not typically used for anything baneful, 9 times out of 10 you'll probably find that it can be used to help. And of course we've got rose. Rose is good for any kind of love, so why can't we use it for self-love? It's a question that I don't think gets asked enough. But now let's move on to crystals. Again, it's pick a crystal and you can probably use it for some kind of self-care, but a few of the ones that not the ones that I would prefer to use, because I haven't used them all, but the ones that I personally found a bit of a connection with: rose quartz, of course, rhodonite, that's usually a good one, citrine, green aventurine, selenite, white howlite, amethyst, moonstone, tourmaline, clear quartz. Clear quartz is great anyway. Carnelian, green jade, and serpentine. So there's so many. Pick a crystal and there's a handy dandy positive use for it. So there's all those, and symbols. Some symbols. Heart, of course, a heart, because that's the symbol of love and compassion, which is what we're showing to ourselves. We're showing ourselves love, and we're showing ourselves compassion when we undertake the act of self-care. flowers, because they're all about growth. Self-care can help us to grow because it gives us the time and space we need away from anyone and everyone else to do what we need to do for us. It's also about self-blooming, because it's a really good time for some, say in the bath, pondering. If you do a lot of thinking in the bath, that's a good place for self-care. That's a good start for self-care. The sun, images of the sun, because it's all about the inner strength shining through, that radiance. Because when you look after yourself, when you truly have a practice of self-care, things change. The world changes. Encircled arms. So I believe there's, I think it's called the cladder. I could be pronouncing that really, really wrong. I'm so sorry if I am. With the encircled arms, that's for self-acceptance and self-care. Because you're encircling yourself within the arms. It's like you're being hugged, essentially. You're just being hugged. I'll save my favourite one till last. The butterfly. Not my favourite, but still pretty. Because it's all about hope, that there is hope for love, because you can love yourself. Transformation. We transform how we see ourselves, how we see the world. There's a lot of transformation that can happen. Rebirth, because we start to see ourselves differently, so we're born again in a different light. And personal growth, of course, because butterflies are pretty and they go through such a path of transformation to get from the caterpillar to the can't think what it's called now, to the thing, and then they become the butterfly. Like, there's a lot of transformation that goes on. So, but my absolute favourite, the phoenix, because it's all about resilience and renewal, and it's such a powerful image to me of self-care and self-love, because you're breaking the cycle. You're breaking a cycle and bringing light to your world, to your life, to your home even. Self-care can look so many different ways. It can look like doing a face mask on your sofa or in the bath whilst having a bath, and you make it the most luxurious, decadent bath you've ever had, and maybe you'll never have it again, but in that moment it's just what you need. That's self-care, because you're taking time to look after you. That's what it is. That's what self-care is supposed to be, because we as humans can be conditioned from a young age that everyone else needs to be pleased, everyone else needs to be taken care of, especially if you're the oldest in the family, and you've got to look after your younger siblings and your younger cousins, and then it just becomes this cycle of you not being able to do what you want or need to do in that moment, and this breaks it. This is what breaks it. You saying, no, I need to take an hour to myself in the bath uninterrupted. No ifs, ands or buts. This is happening. Sometimes that's all it is. So it's a bath. A bath can be the best kind of example of self-care. Sometimes it can be taking the time to read your favourite book, or to read a book for 10 minutes. Self-care doesn't have to be some big, elaborate, long soak in a bath that takes at least an hour, if not more. It doesn't have to be that. You can spend 10 minutes a day doing something that you want to do just for you, and that is self-care. So reading, cross-stitching, any kind of craft that you're interested in. That can be self-care. I do cross-stitching sometimes, and you know, sometimes a snuggle with my cats is all I need. Sorry, Luna's jumped up. So just spending time with my cats. I know you can't see her because there she is in the little corner. There she is. Like sometimes it can be just going for a walk, listening to your favourite music, drinking a cup of tea. It's all self-care. It's different versions of self-care. It's finding what works for you and go with it. It's doing things for you that you want to do. It's like I've done cross-stitching projects for friends. I've been asked to do it for friends. I've done one for friend's mum, and then I recently did another for my friend, and neither individual knows that they're getting what they're getting, mainly because I need to frame it and give them, but they are there, they're waiting. I chose to do them. I didn't feel obliged to do them at all. I wasn't told I had to do them. It was just would your mum like this? Yes, she'd absolutely love something like the image I described, because I didn't send an image of what it was. I just said, would your mum like something that looks like this, but it's cross stitch? And my friend went, absolutely, she'd love it. So I sat and stitched it, but I did it at my pace. Like, there have been times where I haven't wanted to stitch, so I haven't. I've just not touched it. Self-care can also be just listening to your body and what it needs. So something that I've been doing a lot of recently is my sleep. My sleep is all over the place. It's great fun from the outside, but when you're experiencing it, it can be the worst thing in the world. Because I don't know whether I'm going to be asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't know whether I'm going to be asleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know. You could say, oh, are you going to be awake at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon? And I could say, I don't know. Good question. Ask me tomorrow. Text me at that time tomorrow and ask if I'm awake. If you get a response, I'm awake. If you don't, probably asleep. And I'll reply when I am awake and go, no, I wasn't. I've just woke up. I just follow what my body's telling me, which means that I haven't necessarily written blog posts as often. I haven't done much stitching. I haven't done a lot of reading. There's a lot that's been going on, but I've just tried to take a step back and go, do you know what? Out of everything else, I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to let my body tell me what it needs for me to take care of it. Sometimes that's been a boogie in the kitchen while I'm cooking something to eat. It's a bit of self-care right there. Sometimes it's a boogie in the kitchen while I'm doing the washing up, because I haven't done it in like a week and I needed to do it. But it also felt right to do it within myself. That's self-care. Listening to your body is the best form of self-care, because your body can then tell you, this is what I need. I need a long soak in a bath. I need a walk. You need to go and feed me. You need to sit and stitch. You need to doom scroll on social media. You need to, like, there's so much. But I've just not I've listened to my body and followed its lead instead of telling my body this is what you're doing whether you like it or not. So I hope that helps. If there's any questions, like this, when it comes to self-care, I don't think there's any wrong answers. So if self-care for you is drawing, do it. If self-care is journaling, again, set aside some time. If you're a really organised person and you have the kind of diary where you have, I don't know, let's see, have I got this written in my actual diary? I do as well. If you, this is from weekend just gone. So there were 3 Six Nations rugby games, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and I've scheduled them in my diary. If you're the kind of person that needs this kind of diary to block things out, do it. Because that's the thing, it's there. That's what you need to do for it. Oh, I need to amend that. But it's, if that's what you need and is helpful, do it. Carve it out in, personal time. Personal time. No one needs to know what specifically you're doing. So how is it anyone else's business but yours what you're doing? One caveat is that what you do doesn't harm anyone else or anything else. Because sometimes when I'm doing a bit of self-care, like reading or cross-stitching, I'm sat on my sofa and I have a little friend. I have a little Luna who comes and curls up on me, next to me, somewhere nearby. Or Loki does. Like, our pets can help us with our self-care by forcing us to stay put, to stop trying to, be constantly in motion. We don't have to be. We're allowed to just be and take time. So I hope that's been helpful. Apologies if I've ranted and waffled an awful lot. I just wanted to give an idea of what self-care looks like to me. If you think what I do can be applied to how you live your life, go for it. Happily. I don't have any reason to say no, you can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. If it resonates and you think it could work and you try it and it does work, go for it. Not have fun. Take the idea and run with it. No issues whatsoever. So I hope that's helpful. Yeah, I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's been inspiring. I hope it's given you some ideas, self-care things you can do, not just spell work, but also activities. And yeah, and I will be back soon with some more magic. Stay safe, everyone, and blessings to you all.